Just regular.
Regular mail.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Selectmen's meeting for October 3rd, 2013. Let the record show that the Chairman Constantino is not with us tonight, and Joe Jessman is not here yet. Okay, we want to start with, why don't we start with the minutes? I think Joyce needed a few extra minutes, so she would be, she'd be up.
They're just the 19th. I just had a little bit on the 26th because there was a little party going on
Yes.
this week, so I had to go watch the video to get the rest of it.
Okay. So, do I have a motion for the minutes of the 19th?
I'll make a motion to bring the minutes of the 19th, table for discussion.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Joe is here now.
Yes,
We're just looking at the minutes.
I picked it up this morning around 11.
Had on her honeymoon.
Yes.
Good for her.
I haven't received any calls yet from anybody. So maybe they haven't distributed.
That could be. Which is Nathan's.
Camera on already.
I didn't need to leave early on Friday. Catherine, on page 4, you should just capitalize Silver and Road and Silver Lake Road in that second bullet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see it. I got it.
Where was the accident down there the other day, do you know?
Right in front of Shiloh's.
I knew it was closed. I went
Yeah.
through my field. They were stopped up past the golf course.
Anybody hurt?
I don't know.
A bunch of ambulances coming though.
I couldn't go near it.
Maybe there was a 3-car pileup. That's what I was told.
Come too fast over that hill coming from Laconia, and like I said, they're stopped in the road.
They gotta slow him down. I
You know,
mean, his
you're right.
explanation of, they set the speed limit for how fast the average car drives.
So they're gonna raise it to 50?
It's crazy. I mean, look at our main streets. Does that mean if I go out and get a bunch of people to drive 40 miles an hour up and down Main Street, I can get the speed limit increased to 40.
According to what he said, yes.
Yeah. And I know it's not DOT, he said that's RSA.
Yes. He was there this morning at our meeting too, talking about the same thing again, and everybody's just looking at him. And he goes, I know the concept, it doesn't sound very good, but he said, that's really what it is. And I said, is that why everybody does 90 on the interstate and, 50 on a 40-mile-an-hour road to get the
I mean, theoretically, if that's the way it is, if I got a speeding ticket for going 75 on 93,
Yeah.
and I did some research and got everybody else who got tickets for going that speed limit, I'd say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was
That's
actually
the
going the
prevailing,
prima facie
actually,
speed, wasn't I?
75 is about the prevailing speed in a lot of sections.
Right, so I should
Well,
say,
they are gonna
going
change
the
the
prima
sign.
facie speed, no ticket for me.
They are going to change the signs, the article I
heard.
read in January,
So parts of it go to 70, I heard?
out from Concord North.
Excellent. That ought to increase the accidents in the Samerton area.
So now instead of doing
Oh, with the
75, they'll
exit?
do 85.
That might be the most dangerous stretch of highway I ever saw, and nothing around to distract you, which is
Right.
probably the problem.
I think it's really nice that Representative Webb comes to our meetings,
It is.
where he's not, a direct representative.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay. All right, Joyce, are you ready, or do you need a few more minutes?
Could just have another minute?
Yep. Okay, while we're waiting for Joyce, I wanted to let you know, for those who might not know, that Heber Feener had passed away. And they say in lieu of flowers, that he would like donations to go to the New Hampshire Disabled American Veterans. And I was wondering if one of you would have a motion to do that?
His funeral's tomorrow at the Vet Cemetery
I know who he is.
at noon.
Oh, now what now?
His funeral's tomorrow at
Oh.
noon
Yeah.
at the Veteran Cemetery in Bosquen.
I would make a motion to donate the standard amount to the Disabled American Veterans in honor of Heber Feener.
Second.
And that is for $50? That's what we usually
That
do?
is correct.
Okay. Here is a card for Heber. Would you like to sign it and pass it on?
This is going to his
Heber
family?
Feener. Yes, his family.
Do you
We
have
need
something
to-
other than
We
green?
still need to vote, I think.
Oh, brown?
All right. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion to donate $50 to the disabled veterans?
Aye.
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 And also, while we're just doing little things, I have, we received a check that's going to the senior center, and it's for $50 in memory of Bob LaPlante. I need a motion for the town to be able to accept it.
So moved.
Second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I do have a question. Who is it from?
This is from the Hartwells, the Alice Hartwell family. Okay,
Very
opposed?
generous of them.
Yes,
Thank you.
very nice of them. Any abstentions? Okay. And I have a little announcement here that Tanger Outlet is having Halloween. It's going to be on October 25th, which is a Friday, and it starts at 5:30. And for the trick or treat on Main Street, I don't think we're 100% sure yet. There's a note here that says it's usually the same day as Tanger, but
The selectmen set that date.
do they?
Yeah.
That's what
Okay,
Cindy
well-
wanted to know, if the selectmen would.
Yeah, the selectmen set that date.
Okay, well, would we like to set that date?
I think most kids still go out All Hallows Eve, don't they? Halloween?
They have official ones, like in Meredith, people do it on Saturday night.
When is,
When is Halloween this year?
but, when is the town of
Friday, I
Northfield's
think.
Halloween? Joyce, do we know?
I have no idea.
They usually do Main Street prior to the Tanger Outlet. The little kids come all through. It's really nice.
Last year, they had a costume thing, and we gave away Patriots tickets.
Yes.
It was really nice.
But the costume was for the merchants, not the kids.
That's correct. That's correct.
It was for the merchants.
But the kids got all the candy, because the merchants were out there with the candy, and
Right,
kids were having a good time.
yes. What day does Halloween fall on this year? There,
We no longer have a calendar on our table.
there's no calendar on the table.
Oh, I've got one right here. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yep.
I don't know, I don't have kids, so.
Actually, Thursday might be a good day to have it. Not just the downtown thing, but I mean Halloween in general.
Okay,
It's Halloween.
right.
Yeah, we don't usually set a date for the general town. That's what
Then
I'm
we just
saying.
let it go.
So what time are parents gonna take their kids out
Should be 5 to
on All
7.
Hallows Eve or
Yeah,
on
5 to
Halloween?
7. Yeah, that's usually early.
I always went on the
But I'm just thinking,
31st.
so they only have to go out once
5 to 7.
on Halloween?
Yep.
I always went out on the 31st. It's a classic.
Yeah,
Is that
Halloween.
what it is?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yep.
That's because it was a 4-day holiday for you, Catherine.
Okay, now, I just wanted to ask, Catherine, you were saying that usually the downtown merchants, do they try and coincide and have the same thing when Tanger is?
We'll have to talk to, Cindy's the one that asked that. Yeah.
So that they go from here to
To the
Tanger or Tanger to here?
Correct.
All right, well, why don't we look into that, and we'll make the announcement next week as far as the
Okay.
downtown, okay? All right,
We can check with the chief to find out when, because Tilton and Northfield usually do it the same day.
okay. All right, so are you ready now?
Yep.
All right, we'll start with Joyce then.
I just had my calendar out. Okay, the board is going to be, is this on?
Yes.
The board is going to be meeting next week on Wednesday. Pat wanted to know if the board would,
What
I'm
board?
sorry, Thursday.
Gonna say what?
Thursday. Okay,
Why?
excuse me, Thursday, the 10th. If you wanted to start meeting at noon from 12 to 2 to do budget, and then from 2 to 4 to do selectmen, and then after that, then those who wanted to go to the Taste of the Trails fundraiser, they could go.
Yes.
Is that agreeable?
Oh, is that what it is? So what is the hours of
sure.
the selectmen's meeting?
I'm sorry?
What are the hours of the
They're
selectmen's
getting
meeting?
earlier and
Asking.
earlier.
No, what are they proposed?
Pat is proposing from 12 to 2 on Thursday, October 10th. And then from 2 to 4, the regular selectmen's meeting. From 12 to 2 would be working on budget.
Bring your sleeping bag, folks.
Is there really that much budget to do? We've looked at
You have
The
all the
Public
outside
Works.
agencies, requests are in,
They're all in?
Yeah, but don't
all
we,
but 3, I believe.
but don't we usually do that with the budget committee?
Right, but don't you like to look at the requests yourselves before they go?
Yeah, usually the reason we go to the Budget Committee is so that we don't have to have the outside agencies come both to the Budget Committee and the
Right.
Selectmen's meeting.
Right.
So we simply attend so that if there's questions we want to ask, we ask.
Right.
Okay.
But we don't have a meeting where we ourselves, the Selectmen, go over their budgets.
I understand that you still want to review them, review the budgets.
You'll have to ask them because I'm going to review them Wednesday.
That's right, okay. Well, what does the board,
Well, we ordinarily vote on the budget that we submit, don't we?
yes, you do.
You know, we have to do that sometimes, so we have to go over at least once all parts of the budget and vote on them.
Well, we were trying to follow the schedule that the board had adopted, and for next week, it's outside agencies.
Works for me.
Sounds like there's, from Johanna's email, there's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
been reading it.
if we could get it beforehand,
I
Right.
have your books for you on Monday. I'm putting,
Okay.
it sounds like a good
So
plan to me.
the emails that Joanna is sending, could I be included on that?
Sure.
I would just ask the Budget Committee, I'd ask, nice guy.
John?
Thank you. The chair, to have her include you.
I think the selectmen should instruct or ask I'm the town administrator. I should have access to the same budget information that the Board of Selectmen have.
Why don't you already?
That's what I'm
I'm
asking.
surprised.
That's why I'm asking.
I don't say, that's got to be an oversight. Why wouldn't, why wouldn't you?
Right. Well-
In the past, has that happened?
We used to get copies of the minutes, but those stopped coming, and I figured, well, that's okay, because I can read them online.
But you never
But I have
received
to wait until,
budgetary.
before I would be able to read the draft, I would be up to date on what had happened at the Budget Committee meeting, but now I have to wait until they are posted on the website.
Oh, really?
Is it
I
our
will-
purview?
I will have John Scanlon ask
Yeah, that
Johanna
would be
to.
great.
Yes, you should be.
So what did the email say about what's going on with the budget then, from the budget end?
No, I didn't bring it.
I don't remember. I'll get my thing and look it up. I just remember it said something about there's a lot of stuff.
Well, they're all supposed to be sending financial information this year. In the past, they haven't always done that.
Well, they were supposed to. We didn't fund the ones that didn't send that stuff last
Well,
year,
this
as I
year-
recall.
This year, we're supposedly receiving more information,
Well,
which is a good thing.
if they have any hope of
I haven't
us
looked at anything.
participating, they have to participate
Right.
on our end.
But I haven't had a chance to look at anything yet, so.
And they haven't scheduled any of their dates yet on when they're going to be.
No, we'll meet Wednesday night and receive the information and then,
Oh,
But
and
that
then
was the plan.
schedule Wednesday,
Yeah.
okay.
and they'll probably go through there's always the simpler ones, you know?
Right,
It's like Birch Hill Kennels, either we build our own facility or we,
yeah.
Park Cemetery, we have to have a place to bury our indigent. Why isn't this coming on? Oh, gosh, I broke it.
Well, while we're
Breaking-
doing that, so it sounds like we don't need to do a budget meeting then on Thursday.
Oh,
from
I think
12
we
to 2.
should.
Yeah, let's go ahead and leave it on
The
the,
volume of information, I just realized that Johanna says it's going to be,
yeah, we might
We're
need
gonna
the
wanna
extra
review it.
time to
we're
look
going to
at
want to review it and then sit down and talk about
We
it.
should.
Okay. And then at that time, as Tim and I have more information on the line items that are still outstanding, we can give that information to you on that Thursday as well.
Okay.
Because I've received the supervisors, the checklist, the moderator. I have the draft budget of the Lakes Region Fire and Mutual Aid. They officially adopt their budget October 30th, but I think we can at least plug in the number
Yeah.
that they're proposing. Also, the Conservation Commission. Last week, we got Parks Commission, and I'll have some other line items, okay, so that'll be for next Thursday, October 10th at noon, from noon to 2. Okay, so since we won't be meeting again until October 10th, the deadline to submit notice for the union is October 7th. So what Peter is recommending that we do like we did 3 years ago, which is a letter that the town sent,
Just change the date.
just change the date. No,
Oh, you have more.
and then,
Oh, this is it,
Yeah.
with the changes.
so if you approve this, I can go ahead and put it on town letterhead and leave it in the tray so that the board could sign this, because it has to be submitted before October 7th.
I see no
Are you
problem.
going to add our names to it?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I think it's perfect.
Good by me.
And then the
A motion or just a consensus?
just a consensus so that you'll know to come in and sign it, because most of you will be here tomorrow anyway,
Right.
so you can sign it. Okay. I didn't get a chance to put it on letterhead.
Anybody have any objections to the letter?
None.
Okay, that's good.
And then the only other thing is that what he would like to do is schedule a session with the selectmen at some point before the actual negotiations start.
Okay,
So that can be worked out later.
well, how about if we take care of that next week?
Yep.
We should all be here, God willing.
Okay, I had sent the board earlier an email that DRA had just yesterday sent out an email saying, oh, I'm sorry, you can't get your tax rates until November 7th. So there was just an uproar amongst all the municipalities in the state. They immediately called the governor, all the state senators, House of Representatives, commissioners of education and DRA, and it's settled. We just got a notice, and it's been in the paper, that the Commissioner of Education and the Commissioner of Revenue Administration sat down and they worked it out, so tax rates will be set on time.
Good. I'm glad a lot of people put the heat under them.
Well, when you're messing with towns trying to get their tax bills out so they can
Right.
pay their bills, and just kind of spring it on them.
I thought it was kind of entertaining.
So that's good. And we'll also be, when I was talking with Lauren today, she's fighting another unfunded mandate. Now, we haven't gone as far yet as to get the legislature involved, similar to how
She's what?
an unfunded mandate.
Oh, this is interesting, and what
Yes.
is that?
Okay, every year we have to file, the selectmen or the Board of Assessors, okay? You hire a contractor to do this. But the state provides a form, and then we have to submit all of our assessment data on the sales that they have selected. That's how they set their equalization ratio. Years ago, when we used to do this, we used to do it by hand. Real Data would print the forms for the state. They would come, it's like pages and pages of all the sales. And the assessing office would have to fill in, what the assessments were, because they're comparing the sales price to the assessed price. Well, then, Real Data set it up so that the assessors could do it electronically. So we would just go in, and they would click a button, and then all of the information, all the data fields that they need, go from Avatar right into Real Data. We also have started, remember this Mosaic project, where they said we need the towns to, send us your data, just the raw data, and they'll put it in where it needs to go, which I've been doing faithfully, twice a year.
Right.
It's sent in a GIS format, takes 2 seconds to email them the data. Now they're saying that they have a new form, and that the assessor has to physically enter the data. This is going back to like 15 years ago when we used to do that. And Lauren said, that's ridiculous. We'll work with you to do like we did with the MS1 form, On the municipal services side of DRA, this is the equalization side of DRA, where you just tell us what you want, and we press a button and it populates your form. And they said no.
What are they, silly?
And so she's been arguing with them, and right now it's really been Avatar's fight, because Avatar has the most communities in the state. So she's getting ready to go to the, right now she's just been dealing with municipal services, which is Steve Hamilton.
Won't that cost us more?
Well, yes, because what she has found that in other communities, you know how we have these monitors that go out? They're like these phantom DRA people, they pop in
Yeah, yeah.
and say, we're here.
The spies?
How's everything going? And then they do have to do a report every year, which I meant to bring up tonight, but it's still downstairs because I haven't really read it yet. It just came in the mail today, where they give their report, where they check how the assessors are doing their assessments. And right off the top, everything was fine. There were a few little minor errors, like they'd called something that was an OFP when it was a UPF, and Lauren looked at it, she said, Joyce, when we were out there, that's what it was. Since then, they did something, they changed it. So I said, well, you let us know when you're ready, because November 15th is when we're supposed to send the data. And we can, I said, we can contact the Municipal Association, we can contact the New Hampshire Municipal Managers Association. They were the ones that went crazy on the tax rate thing. And
So
because
you
it's the
just
same...
arbitrarily changed this?
Yeah. And they had been working with them since June on setting it up so that they could just populate their form. The law says they shall provide a form. The law doesn't say, and your staff has to fill it out. We'll provide you a form, and then electronically it fills it out. That's what we're paying for. We're not paying for Lauren or Gus or Catherine or myself to sit there and from each assessment.
They trying to ensure the veracity of the information? Because those computers are pretty reliable. I can't imagine a good reason to have to sit there and enter every single every line on every sheet.
So what her last volley was, she says, consequently, this is her letter to her clients, I have informed the DRA that we will be submitting all of the sales information as required by law, that we would not be entering any data into their Mosaic program. I can see no benefit to the towns other than added time and cost to do this function. Further, there is no statutory provision that would force the town to do this added work. While I cannot stop someone from learning their program, nor do I wish to, I fail to see the benefit to any community. The DRA is using this program to perform their equalization duties of the commissioner, and they are attempting to use assessing clerks around the state as their own data entry staff. They have shifted the burden to local communities in other areas. For example, state forms like the yield tax are no longer provided, and now towns must copy to the appropriate parties and email to the state. And this is merely an attempt to further reduce their time and costs at the expense of the town. As such, I stand vehemently opposed. We will continue to provide the information as required under the law and to serve the best interests of all the communities we serve, and we will work diligently to cut costs and eliminate waste. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, so.
As the assessing
send it already?
officials,
Yeah, this was in your today's FYI.
what is our liability for not following the rules of the DRA? Because she represents Tilton, and maybe she gets spanked, but
No,
does
no, we're
Tilton have a
submitting, no,
problem?
we are submitting the information, but we're not entering it in their
Even
form.
though that's the rule.
They can enter it in the form.
That's the rule that they just made up.
Right.
Right.
Well,
And it is
that's
self-serving.
Just said, oh, I'm sorry, we're too short-staffed, we haven't been able to calculate the student population figures so that we can send them to DRA so that towns can send out their tax rates.
Yeah.
As long as the town has no liability for failure to follow that rule,
No.
No, they'll get
I'd
the
say
information
forget
November
it.
15th.
Yep.
work for me.
And while we're talking about the state, I had originally tried to set up a meeting with the DOT commissioner October 10th at 3 or on October 11th, and Pat's the only one that had gotten back to me, and she could do it October 11th. And when I went to call the woman, she said, oh, those slots are gone already. So she gave us another slot for Tuesday, October 15th at 1 o'clock. Pat said, take it.
Yep.
So can you come? And I'll confirm who's all going to be attending, but it's planned to be either the commissioner or the deputy commissioner.
When?
October 15th.
Tuesday, October 15th, at 1 o'clock. No, in Concord.
Oh, in Concord.
Yeah. So have a commissioner or deputy commissioner, have someone from operations, which they were thinking maybe Bill Janelle
At 1 o'clock?
at 1 o'clock, or also there's a Mr. Dobbins, Caleb
Why wouldn't
Dobbins,
they have Nancy Mayville there if we're going to talk about Class 2 state aid roads?
and Nancy Maybell.
Is that what we're going to
Yep.
talk about? Okay.
Because we're just...
Where is it,
We've
Drew?
had, what,
Hazen
2
Drive.
letters from the commissioner and one response
place we
from
went.
us.
That day coming.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
You know where you
It
register
was
your motor
October
vehicles?
what?
Down there? Or do you get your driver's license
it
and
from Pike
stuff?
Place.
Go
Right there, yeah.
past it?
Yeah, we
on the
went
right-
there.
Yeah, big building.
And at 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
We were
Tuesday.
together.
I was going to ask you.
DOT building.
Yep.
Just remind me.
Okay.
And also, I had sent emails to to the 2 state representatives and 2 senators to talk about state roads, and I had given the dates of the 3rd, the 10th, and the 3rd, the 17th, and the 24th. The 3rd is pretty much come by, it's not tonight. The 17th, the 2 senators can't do. And I'm just waiting for confirmation that they could do the 24th. Ian Raymond is free the 24th. I have not heard from Dennis Fields. So until I lock at least 1 or 2 of them down, I haven't sent out any notices to any of the residents yet. So right now, we're trying for the 24th. I believe it was last week, I had put in the FYI, or I emailed everybody, the soil delineation sampling report,
Yes.
and I was just wondering if anybody had an opportunity to review it. I did speak to the chairman of the Conservation Commission and one of their members who reads these things diligently,
Yes.
and their comment was, well, it's as they had expected.
Yep. I didn't see anything that shocked me. It's kind of what you thought would be there. So,
So if you don't have any more questions or comments, then our engineer can go ahead and submit this to DES so they can get us in the funding queue. Catherine, I'll give you this,
Okay, thank you.
and I'll give you a copy of the letter for Peter. So is that okay to?
it's fine by me.
Over the past couple weeks, I've had an opportunity to speak with Dennis Allen, John Bossy, he's the facilities manager at the New Hampshire Veterans Home, and also was finally able to connect with Peggy LeBrecq, who is the commandant. She'll prepare an agreement for snow storage for the board's review. It will have to go before the governor and council, even though there's no money, no consideration. Hopefully, we can get this set to go before the snow flies. The other thing I talked with Lauren about was the 2014 update, and if she could send me the contract for that, even though we had signed a 2-year assessor's agreement, which was good that we did, because we held that price. She said next year's going to be their busiest year ever with updates. So we're first in line. The price is the same. It's $68,500, but to actually do the update portion of it, it requires a separate contract that goes to the Department of Revenue Administration to be reviewed. She sent it, it's been reviewed by them, they're fine with it. If the selectmen can go ahead and sign this, she can start to work on it right away.
Okay.
So I'll leave this in the to be signed. I don't know if you want to wait until next week when we have a full board.
Board,
In
what do
the
you think?
In the past, we have not required her to post a bond
That's the update agreement for 2014.
for our update.
You want to see it?
I read that, we need to do it, so. we'll not-
Yeah, we need to do it, yes.
Well, the information I saw that they have to post a bond, do they not?
That's
Over-
purely up to the board. They do provide a certificate of insurance. It adds an additional $2,075 to the price.
I think so.
She said it's purely up to the board
We pay for their
They're
insurance.
going to
Yes.
charge us
for the bond.
if we require them to post a bond?
Right.
We have, yes, they increase the amount to pay for the bond.
So we don't need the bond.
No,
No.
Then why are we doing it? We don't need it. Let's not
right,
do
we
it.
It's a
haven't.
safety
If
issue.
it was a new company, perhaps I
Right.
would be inclined to
Right.
seek more information. However, I'm satisfied that Avatar has done a good job for us in the past, so,
Okay, so I
I
can
would
mark
move we-
no?
No.
yeah, I would move
They
we
they
don't.
did after Vision did its update in 2005, they came in and defended the values. I think, didn't they convert all the data too? They converted
they
from
did.
Vision to Avatar?
Yeah, they didn't, they defended, we paid them to defend some of the values.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Yep.
They weren't their values, they were Vision's
Business
values.
values.
And then they did the 2009 update, and now we're doing the 2014.
Okay, well, the only thing is there's only room really for one Board of Selectmen. And can we start up here?
Yep,
All right. So is it the
I move
consensus we're
that-
going to sign it?
Yes.
Yes. Catherine?
Catherine,
I'll decide when I look at it.
Oh, my
like to look at it
lordy.
before we do it?
Well, I'm not going to vote to sign it.
Okay.
Okay.
My signature is...
You look at it.
Right.
I don't agree with that whole
Oh,
philosophy.
all right.
So I guess if you're going to have a vote, I'd abstain from your vote.
We're not voting.
We're not
It was
voting,
just a
we're just
consensus.
saying yes.
Well,
Okay.
we can leave it in the folder and do it next week. That'll give
No,
Catherine an
I'll
opportunity.
look at it and sign it.
Oh.
I'm familiar with the document,
Okay,
so I'll just proofread it and sign it.
all right, then I'll leave it and leave it on the Catherine's desk and, oh, here. Now,
The other thing I want to update you on is that, if you recall, in the BTLA appeal with Sherryland,
yes,
both parties had settled, but Sherryland hadn't signed the agreement.
right,
We filed the agreement with BTLA. BTLA said, we accept this even though he hasn't signed it, and he has 10 days to respond, and he hadn't responded. Well, I found out today that he did respond because when they had sent out the original notice to him to respond to in 10 days, after a few weeks, it came back wrong address. So they sent it out again, unbeknownst to myself or Lauren, to the correct address, and he did respond, requesting a hearing, and they have granted him a hearing.
Are
So
you
it hasn't,
kidding?
no, so it hasn't gone away yet.
When's
That's
this hearing?
probably why he hasn't cashed the check, even though Lauren had explained to him whether you cash the check or not makes, no difference.
right.
Well, apparently it does make a difference.
So,
Especially to him.
so I called today, it hasn't been, BTLA today, it hasn't been scheduled yet, but she confirmed that, yes, that they did,
So,
are planning to schedule a hearing.
Okay? I didn't want to give him the check to start with.
Right.
so he didn't respond within their time limit, and the excuse was,
They mailed it to the wrong address.
Wrong address.
hence the reason he has multiple addresses.
Yep.
Now, do we know what the address was?
We know what his correct address.
No, I'd like to know the address that they mailed it to, because if that is the address that he gave the court, when Cindy and I were going through that, then that's the official address he gave to the court. And if it is, he should not be granted another hearing.
Yep.
That would be,
Oh, I think it's yours.
nope. It's-
Well, I'll be able,
Joanne.
Hers? Oh, no,
Joanne's.
it's hers. Okay.
I'll be able to look and see on the,
DES closes in 5 minutes, right?
what he had filed with DES.
Yeah.
But from the time when they file to the time when they actually have their hearings or make a decision on their hearing, as much as 2 years could have gone by.
Sure.
So, but I'll ask. I mean, I'm sure they could tell me.
I mean, if he only had a 10-day window, and he's using that as an excuse.
Yep.
bogus.
Excuse me. The other agreement is running out, correct? for Avatar?
Our regular assessing contract,
Our contract is coming up.
it ends the 31st, but we signed a 2-year agreement, so we're all set for 2014 for regular contract assessing, and for the update at that price. But we have to sign a separate agreement for the update because DRA has to review and approve it.
How much does this cost?
$68,500.
But we've already,
We're already obligated.
we're obligated to pursue this, certainly, but don't we have this thing about if it's over $500, we send it out to bid?
I already did that.
We did
Now, that's what I'm trying to ascertain.
Yeah.
We're already,
Right.
we have a deal, and this
Yeah.
is just the addendum for the valuation. Huh?
Right.
Just a formality.
We were planning on originally doing it in 2014, and then we changed, and we were going to move it to 2013,
Right.
so we could be in sync with Northfield and Samberton, but then Northfield changed their year to 2012, so we went back and said, oh, can we not do 2013? We want to go back to our original 2014. So this has been in the works for 4 years,
Yep.
and they've held the price the whole time. Because they like us. We're good. We're a good client.
Yeah.
We pay the bill.
Well, and we're, and we...
Well, that's exactly what makes it
We're
big.
interested, we pay attention.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm almost done. All right, most of my time last week and the beginning of this week was getting out the healthcare reform notices to everyone. And so we got that done. And then also the return of the contribution holidays, which was a difficult calculation to make. But we did it, and so far, I only received one question about how I arrived at that calculation.
Wow.
For all those employees. I still have to do the retirees, and I tried to get them done today so I could have the checks, but just ran out of time. Peter Phillips, Avatar. Okay, and then the, Tim had asked, remember last week he had given you all a draft of the audit, and wanted to know if you had any other questions. When I look at these, I always go right to the page for the fund balance.
Yep.
And then also to see if there's any management notes and the management letter.
Yep.
Other than that, it's just all a bunch of numbers.
Yep. It is.
That's what it looks
About
like.
I didn't know I needed to respond if it was good.
Oh, I'm
But-
about halfway through it.
What they do every year, there's this board, it's called GASB, it's the governmental, I used to know all this stuff, but it's a board of people, of CPAs and auditors and representatives from government, and they sit around every year, they make up new rules and change how you're going to be reporting things. Every year, they make a change. So
That's their job,
now
isn't
that
it?
we have Tim, he can stay up on.
By chance, do we pay them to do that?
Do they get paid? I'm sure they do.
Pardon?
But I'm sure they get paid, but I don't know how. It must be through some sort of dues or something
I'm
that,
sure it's through us.
to be certified and to do
Well,
business.
they made us become GASB compliant.
Yeah.
Which gave the accountants an awful lot more work
Right.
to do.
Well, like the fixed
Which we
a-
paid them
right.
for.
Right, because
So,
before,
yeah.
municipalities were exempt to having to do fixed assets. And then they had GASB 34, I think it was, that all municipalities, they gave you time to comply, and then they made us do that OPEB, which on the
Oh, I
retirees.
forgot about that, yes.
I think that was GASB 45. And so they come up with things all the time.
Accountants are first cousins to lawyers, and you know how
There you
I
go.
feel about lawyers.
All right, so I'll just tell them that we just need another week. Okay. And then, I didn't know if you wanted to talk under other business, or wait till next week to talk about 16 Prospect.
Why don't we do that next week when we have the full board here? Because I know...
Well, there is something that, have all of you seen the barn?
Yes. You
Okay.
mean that rubble?
I was going to suggest that you go and look at the barn.
What barn?
The rubble barn,
Pile of stuff.
The former barn. And please notice that the house doesn't appear to be structurally sound. There's
On one
floor and there's a wall issue. We'll discuss this more, no doubt, but
Near the freezer?
I think the
I don't know
house,
what kind of appliance it was.
the house is freezer. The house is sound.
The house is
That's
very
just a
sound.
wall off the porch,
Yeah.
an add-on porch.
No. I saw that, and that's not really what I was talking about so
You're talking
much.
about
I'm talking about the wall of the house. If you walk down that driveway, I'm looking at it, and it appears to be bowed out. That's bad. Maybe it's just me, and I didn't bring my
Notice that.
level, but it looked like the wall was,
Anybody been in the basement?
No,
See
we
if it's-
can't get to
looks
it.
a little creepy.
Was that the door in the kitchen?
Maybe we're gonna get to it, though.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I made Al look through the window.
my
There's a sign
statements
The
are...
pictures I
Broken
took
steps.
yesterday, Catherine, are on your drives now.
Put into that thing to make it...
And the yard, when we went this
Saleable.
afternoon, has pretty much all been cleaned up.
It's a total,
all that
the house is
And
total.
most of the porch. Yep.
Yeah.
Took all that stuff.
And
They were there
we
till
get
late
that
last night with
back. I don't think
flashlights.
so.
Did she get her pocketbook?
So then what?
She stopped by, but there was miscommunication between Catherine and I, and she didn't know that's what it
As
was.
is as shown.
Oh,
Oh, but she knows it's here.
Yes.
It's safe, okay.
That's what you'll get for it.
I can't believe they took all that stuff.
Maybe.
And then just one last thing pertaining to that, the gentleman that was
lot.
there helping them move on Tuesday came back and said that the prior owner had said he could take the bicycles and a snow blower.
How do we know
I have
this?
not confirmed this with her.
Yeah, nobody, as far as I'm concerned, nobody takes anything.
right.
It's ours now.
We had an agreement with her, she takes all of her
Right.
stuff.
She didn't take it.
She takes her stuff. We don't have an agreement with someone else that she can continually give the stuff away.
Right.
Well, I can attest that the gentleman was there on Tuesday before 5 o'clock, helping
Well, I
her.
understand, but did she actually tell him he could take the stuff? We have no way of
Right.
verifying
But he
that.
should have taken it
He should have
by the
taken it then.
deadline.
Right.
I don't
Anything in
know
the
if
house
he-
belongs to
I don't
us.
know if he was physically able to,
Inside, outside.
had a
Well,
cane.
if they remove it from the outside, it saves us the cost of removing
I
it. But
don't want to be,
I know.
I don't want
no, you
everybody
open-
coming
you open that
along
little
saying,
door.
yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, she said I could, no. There was a deadline,
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
but I believe that everything that she still wanted to take is now gone.
I talked to the sister on the site yesterday. I swung by to look at the barn, and she said that they were going to be getting some more of this stuff in the yard, but they also understood that what was in the house is a done deal. At least that was the understanding that she had.
Okay. I told him I would bring his request to the board. And I have lots of other stuff, but it can wait.
Okay. Going through this file I have right here, there's one thing I want to bring up. Apparently, Franklin Savings Bank is having a gathering October the 8th from 4:30 to 5 p.m. It's awards presentation from 5 to 6, and it's at the Greenside Restaurant in Tilton at the Lockmere Country Club. And it's basically honoring those who make a difference. And there's a note on here that they called and they want to know who's coming because they haven't received any RSVPs. So if this was...
Who are they giving awards to?
I think they list the names of the people.
Yep. Our
What day is it?
2013 grant recipients are American Red Cross, Central New Hampshire Special Operations Unit, the Circle Program, the Gordon Nash Library, New Hampshire Catholic Charities, doing business as the New Hampshire Food Bank, Special
yeah.
Olympics, New Hampshire, Town of Tilton Senior Center, Veterans Memorial Recreational Area, and the Youth Assistance Program.
How do you RSVP?
Okay, this ticket is for admission for one. I don't see an RSVP, hang on. Oh, here it is. Please RSVP to Dorothy Savory at 934-8316, or email, and there's an email address. If you would like it, I'll send it down.
I'll call Dorothy.
Okay?
And what's the date for that, Sandra? I'm sorry.
Tuesday, October the 8th.
Next Tuesday. What time?
It starts at 4:30 for the social gathering, and then the award presentation starts at 5.
As much as I'd like to go, it just dawns on me, I'm teaching a class for the New Hampshire Food Bank at 4:30 on Tuesday.
Well, this may be something, have you mentioned this to Pat? Was this something she wanted to go to? The award ceremony?
I don't believe so. I think I got a call from the bank wanting a confirmation on who was attending, and so I stuck it in Pat's, and she was the one that got the...
Well, you put it in
Oh,
Pat's, but
didn't see that.
Pat hasn't seen this, apparently. All right, well, when I talk to her later, I will bring this up and say you need to act on this particular, okay?
It doesn't have to be Pat, it's whoever...
Oh, I understand, but I thought maybe because she is involved with the senior center that she would like to be there. But I will, I'll call her later and say it was in your packet. If you're going to do it, you need to act on it. And I'll give her the numbers for RSVPing. Anyone else would be interested in going? Okay.
I have a question about the agreement. Joyce, how many parcels do we have?
I can tell you the exact number in 1 second. Just off the top of my head, about 2,100.
This agreement is for an estimate of 2,226. And then anything that exceeds that is $35 per parcel of tract. I mean, we can't control if somebody comes in and subdivides and creates a second parcel, but. I mean, I would have thought they would have had an exact figure, not an estimate.
Of all departments, they should have the exact figure.
They should have an exact figure of the parcels. They've been doing it for us long enough.
This is, total number of parcels is 2,226.
Okay.
Is that what the number is?
That's the number they have.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, let's start with the selectmen's reports. Joe, do you have anything for us?
Yes, I do. Page throw seems to be, from all the indications that I can get, proceeding fairly well. There was an issue today where the trash guy, a guy had recyclables in a box on top of his recycle bin. And apparently the trash guy came along and snagged the box and threw it in with his garbage. Now, that's wrong because of the purple bag thing, certainly. But why would he, why, I don't know. I called Jerry Tweedy because Director of Public Works is off for a couple days. And he was going to pursue it for me to ensure that it didn't happen again in the future.
But it happens all, that's the biggest complaint I have.
Well, that's the first time I've heard that particular one.
Really?
That particular
I
complaint.
tested it, and that's exactly what they do.
Well, the best way is now on notice that that's
Obvious
not
recyclables, obvious.
acceptable. Now, see, I have a, well, if it's not in a purple bag, they're not supposed to pick it up.
Right, but if
That's
you've
what
got
I
it
thought.
sitting on top of your recycled
Recyclables.
bin, and I had a plastic Tupperware bin, and in it I had plastic shelf stuff. I mean, all clean stuff. I just didn't want it. I wanted it gone. And they took it down.
I went by a house.
It's back in my house. They didn't pick it up with the garbage either. I'm like,
I went by a house that's oftentimes had all sorts of stuff out in front of it, right on Route 3. And there was no big piles of anything. There was just one solitary purple bag sitting at the end of the driveway. Yes, Catherine, it was you. Not that much trash, huh?
well, my household has diminished.
Well, okay. I wasn't going there. I'm sure that most of you are aware that I've been having discussions with Sarah Bernier from Waste Zero about the dimensions of our bag. My latest email, I don't know if you saw it, but it was, we need a bag that is as big as people expect it's going to be. What size bag is that? How big do you call it? And what's that going to cost? Okay? If I don't get a direct response, if I don't hear from her tomorrow, I'm going to be on the phone with the Chief Operating Officer of Waste Zero. I need that to be resolved. If we need this to be resolved, to ship us any more bags that are too little, that's just creating problems on this end. It's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. And, like I say, I didn't check the industry standards. None of us did, but I had no reason to think that a 33-gallon bag isn't a certain size.
But we made a big point of communicating with her the size of the bag.
Changing the sleeve
Wasn't she
insert.
here assuring us about the size of the bag?
No, she's very clear. And the bags she sent, okay?
I don't
are the
think we-
bags that she brought in, same ones that she brought in, because I've got those bags. And I measured them. They brought us a bag that they called 33 gallons, and that's what they sold us. However, I've yet to find anybody else who uses that definition of 33 gallon. So now, because there are no uniform standards under the law, and there are slight derivations in the sizes, a half inch here or there, it's like, okay, all right, how do we solve this now? Because we need to solve it.
They need to fix it.
Right.
And we do need to get this fixed. I attended a housing seminar, Lakes Region Planning Commission sponsored it. It's going to be part of the Lakes Region Master Plan. This is one of the seminars that went over the housing needs currently, the history of housing, workforce housing, affordable housing, Section 8 housing, what we have, what we anticipate needing.
None.
The demographics of the people in the area and how that might affect housing. We heard from the State Housing Authority. We heard from a developer of workforce housing. And there was a legal aspect to it, too. Attorney spoke. Housing, by and large, people are getting to the point where they spend an inordinate amount of their money on their house or their apartment. Between the taxes and the mortgage and the interest. And that prevents home ownership. That keeps poor people poor is what it does. Then I went to an economic development seminar as well. The prospect, the economy of the area has been growing slowly, starting to inch back up. It certainly hasn't approached levels that it had in 2008. The wages have remained stagnant, not even keeping up with inflation. Carmen Lorenz from the Belknap County Economic Development Council was there and spoke about programs they have to assist startup businesses with advice, legal, well, not representation, but can answer some of the questions and where to go for these low or no interest loans. Carmen can be reached through the Belknap County Economic Development Council. We'll be meeting again for the master plan in about a month, and I'm still waiting for them to send me the economic development draft so I can send it forward to each of you and give it to me electronically. I had one in paper, but I lost it. But I'll get it to you. And the property on Church Street. The property on Church Street that burned December 14th, 2011, and by ordinance should have been ripped down by December 14th, 2012.
I sent him 2 emails, he didn't email back yet.
What's the next step? Because now it's October, the building still stands, except for they took out the windows and part of a wall a little bit, so it's now open to anybody who wanted to go in there, certainly. And I didn't see rodents, but I could hear him scurrying around, something scurrying around inside the back of that building.
The only thing we can do with that is, town takes it down and charges to the taxes.
And the church owns it now, or, no? Wow.
No.
So we have no enforcement authority even though we have an ordinance, unless we
Oh,
spend
we can enforce
We would
it.
have
thousands of
to-
dollars.
We would have to foot the bill to take it down.
Yeah,
And we don't.
put a lien on our property.
And the lien would sit
That's your only
there.
option.
Did the church change their mind and they're not going to use
I
it?
think they're still negotiating with them.
Right.
That building is a health issue, it's a safety issue, it's certainly an
It's
aesthetic
not a
issue.
health issue. There's no one living in it.
No, and there's no one living in it, but that's a neighborhood, and it attracts feral cats and raccoons and skunks, and those kind of things carry rabies and ticks, and it's just not a good thing for anybody in the neighborhood, and it's 10 months past when it should have been
Unless you want to take it down and charge them for it, that's.
And, you
our
know,
hands are tied.
is there any way to speak with the property owner eyeball to eyeball?
I've sent him 2 emails
Yeah.
to get back to me.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been contacting me, and he hasn't contacted me, so I'll try again. I'll stop by there tomorrow on my day off. I don't mind doing that. But if he's not there, it does me no good to stop there.
I know.
I mean, I can chase him, but if they don't come to see me, the only thing we can do is pay to have it taken down, then take it out of taxpayers' money.
Well,
It's a crazy thing, but.
yeah, well, I would like to give them one more shot at it anyway.
Yeah.
But eventually, we have a responsibility to
Right.
enforce the code
Right.
or the ordinance.
Which we've been trying to do, but
I know you're right. I know you're
It's just-
right. And they started doing it, and then
Right.
they stopped completely.
that's why I emailed him, find out what was going on. Because I said one before the next selectmen's meeting was tonight. Yeah, actually, it was last week too, I emailed him, and he still didn't contact me. I know I got the right address, because it's right on the computer. It's not like it's... But I can pay a visit to his mother, talk to his mother, because it's not her property anymore, it's his. He's taking it over.
Did he take it by deed?
I believe so.
Do you have anything else, Joe?
No. Good to go for now.
I handed you all a report on how the permits are going. And that doesn't include the permits I got today, or yesterday, because it was last week's. I was gonna hand it out last week, but we didn't have time. Still waiting for some feedback on 822. See what's going on with that from the planning board. 'Cause they have
To
to
my
report.
knowledge, they haven't heard anything.
Yeah, because they're supposed to report to them.
Yeah.
Emerald Lane, still waiting to hear something back on Emerald Lane, on our big fine we have on that we haven't heard nothing back on. What else? I'd like to say signage is slowing down a little bit.
What about that sign across the street? Is that a legal sign?
This one right here?
Which one, the
For the
open?
laundromat?
Yeah, Riverside Laundromat, isn't that a new sign?
The one, is there one over there blinking?
There's one blinking, the open sign blinks.
Oh, I meant the Riverside laundromat sign.
10% of the facade?
Is that,
Oh, look, to be honest with you, I'll check.
I think it said something over there, but I think that particular sign is different somehow. I was looking at that earlier. That can't always have been there.
No, that sign hasn't always been there.
It's such an old building, I bet you don't have a measurement of it. So what are you gonna do, go take a tape measure?
Yep. That I will do. Because I don't, be honest with you, I don't know if you can pull a permit for it. I haven't even, my brain's not clicking, but it will click. Monday morning, he'll get a call.
well, I just wondered, because according to our thing, downtown is at 20%, 20 square feet
Of the
for the
building, yeah.
initial sign.
Of each, each business, right. Correct, I know that.
Okay. I just didn't know whether that was something he'd come in and dealt with you about, or,
Nope.
okay,
That's one of those things he just did on his own, as he did before.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We took care of that the other way, and we'll take care of that again.
All
He
right.
must like paying double the fees, that's all I can say.
Oh, looks like you've been busy.
Extremely.
Have anything?
Walmart's been keeping us busy.
Yes.
Aspen Dental's going in. Auto Serve's coming in to do their site plan for 140,
Okay.
on the left-hand side where the woodworking shop used to be. I think that's it. Unless something pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take it you haven't had any visitors for Taco Bell?
Nope, not yet.
Well, I know they come in conceptually, they haven't come to do a site plan yet.
That's in between McDonald's and Super 8.
Right,
Yeah.
but they have a lot of issues there they're gonna have to work out before they can do anything.
Yeah, it's a little tricky in between the properties.
Well,
Taco Bell?
The property between the two is a well protection area.
Yeah.
Plus, the driveway coming in there is owned by McDonald's.
McDonald's.
So they may
Right away.
very well not want to share an easement with Taco Bell. I don't know. So anyway. they
A
can make-
well protection area? Why didn't we have a well protection area at the Grange? All of a sudden now we have well protection areas?
No, this is where the wells are because the Grange turned around and put in water.
Right, but we didn't have a choice because the driveway was going in.
But
I'm
this-
just saying,
Yeah.
we should be consistent.
But this is something they're saying that they're going to hook everything up to water. So we'll see. All right. You have anything else, Al?
Nope, that's it.
Catherine?
I have one thing, the rest of it will save till next week. It's not earth-shattering stuff, but I'm sure Pat would want to weigh in on it.
Okay.
I was handed a letter today by the town clerk. I didn't make copies.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Warren Glad handed it around for people to read. It was in her file. It's dated September 29th, 2004. It is not signed. It's just signed a concerned citizen. It's been the policy of the Board of Selectmen since I became a selectman that we don't acknowledge documents, letters, that people don't put their names on.
Great.
But this was in her file. She was unaware of it, I guess, until she found it just recently.
I had asked her, because I explained to Cindy that it's the selectmen's personnel file, and only they put things in and can take things out. She's welcome to make a copy of anything. So I suggested that she bring it to the board and have the board give permission to.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion to remove it from her file.
I'll second that.
Can I see the,
Yep, absolutely.
I think that's a great policy.
Yeah, it's always been our policy if you're not gonna
Always. I
give
was
us
so
the name.
surprised when I was speechless when she showed it to me. I had no explanation as to how or why it was there.
Right, you know, I mean, if they
That's
want,
just a copy of it, so
Right.
we'll take the one out.
if they want their name to remain anonymous, that's one thing, but they can't send something to us without signing it.
Well, and expect us to take action on it.
Yeah,
It was,
You know, everyone, I think, that's accused has a right to face their accuser.
that's right.
So-
And how many times have we, in the past, how many years I've been involved with the town,
Did you ever read
you get
this?
these nasty grams from people tearing somebody apart, but they won't sign it.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
wow, there's,
So I told her I'd bring it up. I was a little embarrassed.
it's not regular policy to put letters from residents in employees' files, is it?
Well, normally what would happen, let's say that was signed, the person would have had a complaint, we would have called them in to speak to the board, you know, to talk about the complaint.
yep,
The town clerk is an elected official, so we would have let her respond to it. We wouldn't have responded to it for her. We just kind of would have been a mediating board, because that's between that elected official.
yep.
And then I don't think it even then should have gone in her file, because she's an elected official. Her position is not based on merit or performance, or, it's not that kind of employee file. But for an employee, we would go through that process,
That's right, every one of them.
and then make a determination on whether we felt it was justified.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was,
Do we have a regular file of correspondence that the selectmen receive of this type? Not necessarily concerning this individual, but just in general. Letters from residents.
we keep letters from residents that are signed by residents.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes they'll get disseminated into a file they may pertain to.
Who's that regarding to?
and
Did you
we
wanna-
always,
I hadn't.
and if the board
sorry.
responds, we always attach the selectmen's response to that letter.
Yep.
I don't have to read any further.
Isn't it? You know?
Yeah,
And some of what is being complained about in this letter is when you come in and register for certain things, those are the questions you have to ask.
that's right.
That's required by the state. So,
Well, apparently, whoever this individual is, didn't care for that.
no, and unfortunately, we have no choice.
Right.
It's either that or not register.
But, you know, I've always told people when I worked here, if they would call and they wanted to submit a complaint, I always told them, I said, that's fine, you can write down, you know, what in your mind is your problem and who it's against, but just know that if you don't sign it, we'll throw it out.
I do the same.
So,
It's not in black and white?
Would you call for the vote?
Not
Would you
really.
call for the vote?
on what?
On
The
the
last
motion.
letter.
Oh, okay. So we're going, the motion is on the floor. I don't think we made a motion, but,
I did, I made a motion to remove.
okay, and
it from
I'll
the file.
second her motion. All right, all
That
those,
last letter in that, the last line of that letter?
Yep.
all those in favor of taking the letter out of the file and destroying it, say aye.
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 All right.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? It's unanimous.
I was just going to say that goes in the
Well,
shred.
that's the copy.
That's the copy, so we have...
Well, that shouldn't be hanging around either.
Right.
We always,
Get rid of them.
we always get rid of them.
Yeah, shred it, do whatever you want to, get rid of it. Okay, anything else?
They didn't sign it.
No, I'll save the rest for next week.
Okay.
Just so it's,
The only thing I have is I did attend the meeting this morning, this little committee that I'm on that's looking at possible ways to help with the traffic situation on Route 3. And this was our second meeting. We had the DOT there, and he is the one that's in charge of mostly policies and stuff with DOT. But anyway, it was a very interesting meeting. A lot came out of it. We have one more meeting on the 24th, and then a report will be written on suggested things that the board feels, or this committee feels, could help the situation along Route 3. The intersections and what needs attention, what doesn't, pedestrian safeties. These are the kind of things that we're looking at. Originally, it was supposed to just be traffic, but, you know, as we all agreed today, because the DOT said something about getting into other areas, but isn't pedestrian traffic every bit as important? And it falls right in line with the traffic on the roads, because, I mean, they're both on the roads, or not supposed to be pedestrian, but they cross the road in several areas, and they walk along the roads, especially in the summertime. So we have to consider them as well. But anyway, the management plan for this Route 3, from listening to everyone today, it sounds like we've come up with some really solid ideas on things we can do as far as ensuring safety, and there's different aspects like pushing and creating better bus schedules so that people can, you know, ride the bus if they choose to. The suggestion came up of more park and rides, so, you know, you'd have more areas where people could leave their car and go with a friend or on a bus or whatever it might be. So anyway, it is coming together very well, and part of it, some of these situations that came up, it was suggested that maybe each town needs its own road or traffic committee to be able to, and would they benefit from whatever report comes out of our meetings. And, you know, we all talked, and most of the towns do have some kind of a traffic committee, you know, kind of like the one that you're on right now, a road committee, but, and you know, I think we plan on distributing this to these committees. It may be that there's things in there that will be beneficial, or they may look at it and say, well, it's a nice rosy idea, but how do you know, put it into practice? So anyway, we have one more meeting on the 24th, and then everything will get wrapped up and the reports will come out. So you will get them when I get them. And that's all I have for my selectmen stuff. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
Should we talk about the cleaning
Yes, did you want?
yesterday?
Touch on it, Catherine?
Yep. And Catherine, I'd like you to come over and join too, because you've been part of these talks with Catherine, so,
Well, she's the backbone.
well, this is it, so I feel
That's when it
it's,
comes to cleaning.
yes. Have a seat.
I think I gave you all the information in your file.
Oh, this is Dee Dee's.
I'm not seeing it, I'm not saying it's not here, the telephone.
Mr. George O'Brien from Capital Cleaning called and wanted to meet with me on Wednesday. He wanted to take a look at the windows, because we're scheduled to have our windows cleaned and carpets cleaned and tile in the police department in the foyer. So he came and met with me, and I brought him upstairs to show him the windows and to talk to him about them, because she met with Mr. O'Brien previously regarding Riverfront Park. So he started, looking at the windows, he said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the windows. He said, this is going to cost a lot more than we anticipated. Thank you, sir. I said, well, that's in our contract for you to do the cleaning. He said, well, we didn't expect it to cost that money, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it.
Thank you. So Catherine had asked, she was in on the meeting, and she had asked if he read the contract. You know, is this the first time you're realizing that this is what was in the contract? And he said, well, he knew it was in the contract, but he didn't think it was going to cost that kind of money. So we went downstairs, got a copy of the contract to bring it to his attention. He also didn't think that cleaning the police department twice a week was in the contract.
Evidently,
So
they
we
read-
brought that to his
Well,
attention
he
also.
then he told us that he
Police
had,
department.
they had lost all the paperwork and had only recently
Oh,
found it.
that's right, he did say, they lost it. And Catherine, you had, how many times did you
I
scan
had
it
back in,
to them?
back in March,
When we signed
could
the
have been
contract?
April or May, but it was one of those 3 months when I was dealing with him with Riverfront Park. He indicated that he didn't have any of the paperwork.
Right.
And that's when Tim gave me a scanning lesson, so I scanned the entire contract with all the attachments, sent it to him, his immediate supervisor, and the woman that handles their accounting in New York.
Oh, so you're saying they got it? Oh, yeah. Oh, but they,
Well, when I reminded him of that, he
All
didn't
of a sudden.
respond. Remember, he just
Oh,
sat
he
there
just-
like
just looked at
busted.
you. He said, well...
All right, now, we've had nothing but problems with cleaning companies. Isn't there a decent cleaning company anywhere out there?
Well,
Well, listen to the rest of the story.
so Mr. O'Brien said, well, I'm going to have to talk to my superior to see if we're going to be able to honor the contract to do the windows and the tile for the police department, and I will get back to you tomorrow. I said, well, the board is meeting on Thursday, we would need to know that, you know, prior to their meeting. So I got an email from Mr. O'Brien, and what he said was that they will continue to clean the police department 2 times a week. They will wax and strip and wax the tile floors in the foyer, and they will, according to our contract, clean the town hall windows inside and out, downstairs and inside upstairs, possibly this weekend, Chief, so you know that. So they will honor our contract, just so you know. Which is what they've had since they signed it March 28th.
I was gonna say that's real considerate of them.
since they did sign the contract.
I suspect, though, the minute the contract expires,
We
or before it
expired.
expires, we'll be getting something from them that increases it. So we may want to think about going out to do this all
Going out
over
to do
again.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said to Catherine. I said, well, you can better believe when this one's up, it ain't gonna be for this price.
Well, Mr. O'Brien also said that they didn't realize that the other person that met with us in the beginning, that met with the board, that he priced it out like that, because they never would have agreed to that.
He was their employee at the time. I don't know if he still is.
He
but-
also sat there yesterday and said to us, when Catherine showed him, well, there's the additional hours, it
Yeah.
said it right in the contract,
Right.
for the additional day at the PD. He said, well, I didn't know what that was for.
Well,
I said, well,
So you
you've been
signed-
billing us for this, and you
Exactly,
didn't know
right.
what it was for. Okay.
Here's the amount every month.
Then you
This
didn't
is
know what you
you're
were supposed to
paying.
be doing to earn it.
so you signed the contract for a certain amount, you have no idea what the extra
Didn't know what
amount
it was
was for.
for.
Maybe I'm just a simple New Hampshire biker, but I feel violated somehow when people say that kind of stuff.
I didn't know.
I also reminded him we found a cleaner to clean Riverfront Park, as per the RFP, for a third of the cost that they were
Right, he
charging
did
us.
point that out.
And they're cleaning.
And the cleaning.
They're cleaning.
Wow.
I didn't have
Go
to send him
figure.
any pictures.
Go figure.
So we
Picture after
shall see
picture.
what happens. Either this weekend or next weekend, they will be doing the cleaning according to the contract.
This contract, it actually expires in March.
In March, yes.
Because they gave us, we delayed it. It should have
first
started
month.
January,
Right.
but,
We had that,
so we may want to think about
So,
sending something out and redoing this, like
Absolutely.
December-ish, so we're ready.
okay.
even give them a shot to bid on it. Just in case.
And I would suggest that we, when you entered the cleaning price in our budget, did you enter exactly what we're spending now?
Yes, that is correct.
We should probably up that by a percentage.
Increase it a little bit.
What was our percentage? Do you remember? We're getting,
Are you talking about the PD and the
everything.
town hall?
Everything.
Up it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was our cost? Was it 16?
$1,049 a month.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave Riverfront Park, what we're
16
paying
something.
now. I do think that's a bargain basement price. I would put it at,
Well, the total was like $1,698.
That's what I thought.
$1,598.
Yeah.
That's what came to mind.
That was with
Little
the
over.
senior center for free. Well,
That's another
I should say
thing.
For free.
Senior center.
I would look at the
There's nothing-
estimates that we got.
Okay.
That included the senior center and it wasn't free. And look at those prices and compare it to what
I
we're
think it was
paying
like
now.
2,000, a little over
Yeah.
2,000 for the senior center. Yeah.
Because we might be surprised.
I thought they were going to hold that price for 5 years.
Well, remember, he wanted us to commit for that long, and he would hold the price for that
Oh,
long.
we should have.
But we didn't want to do that.
It still says a 5-year agreement, doesn't it say that?
It does.
Yeah. Yep.
So we don't have to do nothing for 5 years.
He's not going to
With the
remember that.
exception of Riverfront.
Oh, obviously, no, you don't remember anything else on
They
the contract.
can get out of the contract with a 30-day notice,
Exactly.
They obviously don't remember anything.
Yeah,
just
had
like
to
we
put-
can.
And I think that's probably,
But chances are, here before.
Loss of memory.
much longer, we will probably get a letter from him opting to get out of the
After this is
contract.
done.
Yeah.
All right, so we should,
Get ready.
I think we should plan on,
Okay, people, here is the letter for the union stuff that we approved before. She's put it on letterhead, so I will pass it around so you can sign it.
I might have forgot how to.
And just to remind you, the thing from Kim, he's wanting our input on the audit material that he sent us.
so that'll be next week's agenda?
Yeah, so we'll have that on next week.
Okay.
So if
I'll
you'll
let him
just
know.
go over the information you received so that you can make comments, if you have any.
Got it for me?
I should have it read by Monday. I've made notes.
If you ever talk to this guy.
All right.
I see the public's eager to speak.
Yeah, and it didn't seem, nobody was giving me a hard time about what to say anything, so I ignored them. All right, is there anything else now that we need to take care of, or anyone want to talk about anything? Anything that's made you happy, made you mad? Anything?
Got a pile of trash I gotta go pick up after this. We still have people throwing trash out.
Yeah, chief?
I've seen it all over the place in
Yeah.
unregulated bags.
Yes.
Hate that.
I haven't seen them. If I see them, I'm gonna stop and snag them. But
Boy, you
See if
You
the chief
can't.
has anything for us before.
it's not legal for you to pick them up.
call a cop. Whoops, there's one right behind me.
I hate that.
Once or twice a year.
Do you have anything from the police department to talk about?
I'm all set, Sandy.
You're all set?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion from anyone?
Motion to,
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Judge doesn't ask him.
Isn't there some kind of a tape recording system for the 911 calls that you wanted to discuss somewhere along the way?
And it would end up coming through the IT budget, but I did meet with Tim and talk to him and gave him some preliminary numbers for it. It would do phone and radio, and
So we have no way of recording 911 calls or radio transmissions currently.
unless it's going through Belknap, they do. We just don't during the day.
I thought 911 calls went to 911.
They do, they're recorded in 911's recorded in Concord and Laconia, but our emergency line 4442 is not recorded. So if you, once the call comes to us, it's not. So, this system we're looking at would record up to 6 different things, so like maybe 3 phone lines and 3 radio channels. But it would be good to have radio and phone. Where it came up was like with the K Jewelers case, the U.S.
Because if
attorney
something goes down,
handled that case.
then I'll be
They
recorded.
wanted all our radio traffic. It's
He
not
says for the
recorded.
court.
So, there's no law saying it has to, but it's like, it's a good practice that you should, especially, Terry fields a lot of calls during the day. Those emergency calls should all be recorded. So,
Well, you should, I guess that you and Tim will be presenting the information.
yeah, I just met the vendor a few weeks ago at New England Chiefs Conference.
It is.
In fact, I have our card right here, it's Acorn. That's the same system we had in Plymouth.
That's basically what they're doing.
They run about $6,000 to do a PDR size.
That's what
But it's a one-time cost, you buy it, you own it, you're done. And Terry would have software on her screen where if someone screamed an emergency call over the phone and then hung up, and she didn't quite catch the address, she could go on her screen, hit playback, and then replay that call slowly to hear it. And then same with radio traffic. If an officer screamed out a help call, I'm on Autumn Drive. What number did he say? She can hit playback. It'll pull that up. So,
And there was an accident the other day over in front of Shiloh's. Was anybody, or in that general neighborhood on Route 3, was anybody hurt in that, do you know?
no.
What was it?
One car stopped to pull into Fast Cash. 3 cars stopped behind that car. The 4th car came along and
Hit them all.
pushed them into, hit all of them.
Which way were they headed? East?
East. Yeah, totaled 2 cars. I have the pictures.
I'm glad nobody was injured, sir.
I was trying to get out of my driveway.
Oh, yeah, it was,
You had
it
gone,
shut down.
you were there, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
You had just gone by,
yeah.
and I was coming down the driveway. I had to go straight.
Yeah, it shut down Route 3.
Yeah, I had to go through my field.
Excellent. Make a motion to adjourn?
Second, third,
Fourth.
All those in favor?
that would be us, me.
You know what? It's not gonna know how to handle the fact that we're not here. 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock.
Wow, that might be a record.
Thank you.
We've had the long record.
So Albert, on the 15th, then you are coming.